Welcome to this Women in Computing panel. I need my computer because I don't have a smaller version of anything to host my questions. Again, welcome to this panel. This is going to be a very joyful discussion. I'm pretty confident because I have these four amazing women scientists and professors all, they are all professors here to join me. And to start, I will just humbly introduce myself first. My name is Ping Ji. I'm a professor of City University of New York. I've been with CUNY for 22 years. I'm a professor of computer science. And right now I'm leading the only, CUNY is huge. CUNY has 250,000 students, 25 institutions. And I'm leading the only computer science PhD program at the CUNY Graduate Center. That's, a brief discussion about me, introduction. Sorry. Please go ahead.
Yeah. My name is Lu. I'm working in University of Houston, and I'm appointed with jointly in College of Engineering and College of Medicine. So my home department is biomedical engineering and also population and health departments. But my background is computer science.
Thank you. Professor Lu Wang.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Juan Shan. I'm associate professor in the computer science department at Pace University, which is located in Lower Manhattan, so I'm from local. I'm also serving the assistant chair of the CS department since last year.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Sun. I'm associate professor in mechanical engineering and electrical computer engineering at the University of Virginia. My research is wearable and textile sensors, and we build new technology and we apply new technology in human health and human behavior monitoring. So CHASE is my home conference, so I have been with CHASE for many years, and I'm very glad to join the panel.
Excellent.
I'm Antonina Mitrofanova. I'm associate professor in biomedical and health informatics at Rutgers School of Health Professions. I'm also associate dean for research for the School of Health Professions and co-founding director for the Center of Biomedical Informatics and Health AI at Rutgers Health.
Thank you, everyone. So I'm very happy to see we have equally distributed gender, with the men versus women, here in the audience today, which is wonderful because, although this is a panel of women in computing, I really think this is a topic that's for both gender to discuss. So this, with that thought, I want to bring up my very first sort of comments or, discussion topic, which is, I believe today we have this panel of women in computing is, in hope that maybe in 5-10 years, I don't know how long it will take, this discussion topic will no longer needed. That is when really, when women will become the number of participants, female participants in the computing industry will be pretty much as equal as the number of men. Right? To achieve that day, we actually need the efforts of both, women and men. So, and it also brings up, beyond this women in computing discussion topic, I actually do think the essence of this discussion topic is how to balance life and work. And again, this topic is not only for women. It should not only be for women. But with that thought, I would like to ask the panel, and if the audience wants to jump in and start to engage and ask questions, please do so. Okay, but first let me ask the panel, what are your thoughts about how, or your experience, or your thoughts about how we you did balance your life and work? What are the challenges, right? What are the suggestions? Feel free to start, anyone.
Okay, maybe I can start. I have a personal difficulty when I started my job, partially because I have two body issues, and my husband is also working in academia. And especially when we both started and we work as assistant professor, and that was a very challenging experience, especially when both of us were working on the tenure track. So for work and life balance, after we have kids, I have to say that almost there's no work-life balance, it's all work. And because for the spare time, and most of the time, and I spend with kids, so that is definitely my joy. But still, I personally feel that in the past 10 years and passing the tenure track, and I did not have a very good experience for how to manage work and life. But I also wanted to say, maybe this is just a lesson for myself, and especially for junior faculty and for junior people who are already starting your job in academia, or you are about to start your job in academia. I wanted to say that if you keep persistent, in the end, you will be successful, and you will go through the whole process and actually have overcome the difficulties anyway. So I wanted to say a lot of stresses are more like I add it to myself. And sometimes I wanted to say, maybe sometimes, my personality is more like I'd like to plan ahead. But sometimes when things are out of control, and personally I started to feel a little bit worried, but sometimes it's not necessary. And for all young female scientists, I wanted to say that in a lot of cases, and maybe you can mentally release some of your burden, and which is the part that I didn't do well.
Actually, I do hope to follow up on your point about you gave yourself a lot of pressure. I think, could that be because the society, the stereotypes about women the pressure coming from the society somehow contributed to that pressure to yourself, and it happens to pretty much maybe all of us. I share the same feeling, right? Like I would think, okay, so as a mom and as a a professor at the same time, I really need to, like my kids, when they are sick, they want me more than my husband. It's not that they don't love my husband, and of course I also have a very good partner to share the workload at home, but still like why I want to bring this up. I feel when we have this discussion, we really need to let the society know and really educate the society as well. We all are human, right? Intellectually, women are equally excellent, with men. It's just the expectation, on women for work and home, like their lives, should be shifted a little bit. Maybe this is something that I think panel like this would help a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add that from another perspective, that the question about how to balance life and work, there might be some misconception behind the question, that one may think that if you are smart enough, if you work hard enough, that you will do a perfect job for all the perspectives in your life. You can manage your life successfully. You can build a very successful career if you work hard enough. Actually, I don't think that is, or for majority of people, including myself, it's not a mission possible. That we always need to do subtraction, that we need to sacrifice something, because everybody has 24 hours, 7 days each week, and your plate is kind of fixed. Your time limit is fixed. So if you do more on your work, you definitely have to sacrifice some of your family responsibility, or maybe your own sleep time, your own leisure time. And if you want to take care more of your family, especially in some special stage of your life when your kids are young, you have to sacrifice some of your work opportunities. So that's very common. And I don't think there is a universal correct answer for everybody. We just need to follow our own priority in our own value system. And then no matter what you choose, I think the come out will be good. That you either get something or you learn something. You get the most important thing from that period of time. So that will be my answer to this kind of question, that how do we balance? So we make selection. And I don't think we can really get everything done perfectly. So that's my precondition to discuss this kind of balance question.
That's an excellent point, yeah.
I think I'm the only junior faculty within this panel. and I'm still experiencing suffering from the problem that just Dr. Sun just mentioned. I have two body issue right now, and I have a small kid, less than 2 years old, and I'm experiencing, and I have metabolisis because I have joint appointment, and I'm judged by both female and male, like in the, such as like my chair set, male chair and his set, because we have staff like female and has like two children. So she has children, but she can come to the office every day. So why not you? Something like that. And my female boss said like, I have children. I can why not send you to, if it's some Chinese culture, like we don't send the children to the daycare very early, like that they do, like maybe 6 months. I'm like, we still keep it in it. So even my female boss just suggested me to send my kid to the daycare, but I was not aware that it's not proper because it's my personal life. It should not be like, affected by the bosses. I did not know that, and I suffer a lot. So and a community kid, because I did not fight back, and it communicated like a lot of like trouble right now, and I suffered a lot. So I think I don't have very successful experience, but I do have one lesson. So if you want to fight back for the unfairness, do it quick. Do not wait, because if you show your weakness, the people will not appreciate your weakness or kindness. They will just push you even harder, and that will just not only just increase my pressure, but also kind of like may make me make the wrong decision during a lot of things. So I already suffer, and I'm not sure if it's solved yet, but my suggestion is act quickly.
Yeah, we actually are mixing all the topics, discussion topics together, but it's okay. Any advice, like from, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very important topic for all of us, and this might be one of the very important strategies for us to take as we're building our careers, because it's really not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we have to make sure that you stay healthy, you stay productive, and you also sustain a good family and a good career. I can tell you what I do. I try to schedule my time with my family and with my friends. I put it on a schedule. It is in my calendar. It is on my calendar every evening, and it is on my calendar every weekend. If I don't schedule, I might as well end up working. We're very passionate about our work. We are scientists, so we're passionate people in general, all of us. So we're passionate about work, we're passionate about family, we are perfectionists, right? We want to do everything perfectly. And that's another problem with lifelong balance, because you don't know really what to prioritize. Prioritization, strategizing is extremely important. What is your priority? Definitely putting things on your schedule, but moving things off your schedule to the next day if they're not your priority. Make sure, do not sacrifice sleep. Make sure you sleep whatever number of hours you need. Fine, if you have a deadline, maybe a couple of nights, it's okay to skip it, but it is you really want to pace yourself as a long-term runner. You want to be successful, you want to be balanced. Ask for help and get help. Negotiate with your partner, with either it's your husband or your wife or your partner, to split responsibilities. This is very important. Sometimes they don't know you need help. Tell them you need help. In return, of course, help when they need that time of help.
This is actually a very important point, because, sorry for the interruption, I will let you continue, but I do want to, I have said this in other conferences, to women scientists, especially the young ones. Do not be shy. Do not self-doubt that you actually need the help, and you should be confident to tell others, I need this help. Okay, it's not because I'm a woman, like taking care of kids is my job. No, it's not the case. You know, you really should, you know, be bold and confident to lay out as a person, as a human, you know, like just as a professional, as you were suggesting, right? You know, like negotiate with your partners, negotiate with your bosses or managers. I don't know whether the next suggestion I want to make is the right thing to do. If the environment is really toxic, maybe think about, you know, try to push for change. But if the change is really not happening, then there is a bigger picture, you know, career consideration you should have. So sorry, Antonina, you want to continue?
Wonderful, it's a wonderful wrap-up.
Yeah. So maybe, you know, some specific like examples that we have encountered, you know, like you mentioned one, right? Also, you know, like for me, 22 years already in this profession. I don't know how many years you have, you know, been in your professor position, you know, like or the current career. What do you see really are the big difference between women participating in computing versus men participating, in addition to whatever we already have discussed? I can start. I cannot. This is the problem of, you know, people inviting me moderating a panel, because I always jump in and talk. Sorry about that. So, for example, I started my job here, right? You know, like many years ago, and I joined this department. And it's about 2 years into my job. We didn't have kids yet, but I do have a husband, right? So, and one day I remember I was rushing out, you know, of my office, trying to catch the New York train. You know, the train schedule are very strict. And a senior male colleague of mine saying, "Oh, Pinghua, are you in a rush?" I'm like, "What? I need to catch a train." And then he said, "Oh, you need to cook for your husband." I just felt something's wrong, but I don't know what's wrong. I didn't know what's wrong. So, you know, then, you know, really at least after an hour later, I mean, because I was really in a rush, you know, trying to catch the train. And then I realized, you know, maybe this guy really is discriminating, you know, like having a discriminating mind on what is the job responsibility of a woman versus a man, right? So I want to bring these little things up, and to echo back what I said earlier, the society needs to be educated too. With the modern technology, with the information era, with the fact that we as humans do not need to only rely on physical powers to work, right? You know, women are equally excellent and have equal potential in many ways in work, right? So then it comes back, you know, retrogressively, it comes back to really the discussion, you know, of work-life balance at home, at your offices, at your institution, you know, about getting help and balance out and be more understanding. And no, cooking is not my job because I'm a woman. No, my husband cook better than me, for example. No, he doesn't. But yeah, it's possible, right? So any other, you know, specific, you know, challenges that you have had in the past worth mentioning here?
So I can tell you what, in my opinion, men do better than women. They, in science, they really support one another. They team up, right? Right away, they go as a united front. And this is something that we as women need to learn how to do. It's I don't know why, it's probably based on some psychology. I actually don't know enough psychology of it, but we need to promote one another. We need to support one another. We need to sponsor one another. We need to speak up for one another when you see any kind of discrimination or microaggression or anything like that. I've seen men speaking up for one another many times, and women being silent in that. So we need to overcome that. If we really want to make sure that we have a very strong footprint and we are promoted and we're in positions of leadership, we have to unite. We have to provide better support for one another.
That is a very good point, a really excellent point. I think I do share one observation, you know, for the computer science major, Like I have been a computer scientist for 30 years, since, if you count, since when I was 18, joining college, right? So back then, I think one other statistics or a reason that make your observation is that we are minority. Women are minority in the computer science field. Like, why I mentioned college? In my college, I think the female students it's a decent number back then in computer science. We had 20%. 10 years later, after I graduated from my alma mater, I remember hearing like 1% girls, but now I think the number is picking up again. But when you have this kind of situation, I remember the boys, right? They can do their debugging, their programming assignments together in their dorms, without worrying about their look or things like that. Girls, we already had a good number of girl students there, but we are not big enough. And I cannot agree with you more about feeling being excluded on project after many years later, right? This is already graduated from college and going into my graduate study. UMass Amherst is a very good environment and they are very inclusive. However, I remember like just a few years ago when I talked to my college classmates, male classmate, saying that, oh, I'm thinking about doing this project, blah blah blah. Then he said, why don't you ask my husband? My husband's name, who is also my classmate, right? So why don't you ask him to do it? This kind of stereotypes are still there, and this really indeed just happened recently. And that contributes to the observation of being excluded. Absolutely, we should unite. We actually also should unite the men who are unitable. Is that even a word, right? So yeah. Anyway, so.
I really appreciate you sharing the insights and especially the comment that we as female scientists, we should be supporting each other. And I actually have a question for our senior faculty, and especially who are taking leadership roles in your department, your schools, and to answer, to start with a question, and in the past 10 years, when I started my job, that was 2014, and at that time, the female faculty the percentage was not as high as now in engineering, and now definitely we have more like faculty, female faculty, but when it goes to the higher level, like the leadership administration, my question is, what is your observation what is the percentage change, or is there like a glass ceiling for like leading the schools or the department?
This is a wonderful question. Challenges are very similar. Either you're in the entry level or you go to the higher level. Perceptions are different. It also depends on the institution. So I've heard that some institutions are more welcome to having females in leadership roles than others. And I've seen females changing institution because of that. So know your institution, especially if you plan for a leadership position, definitely discuss with someone up what would be needed for you to achieve that goal. And also understand if it's achievable at your institution. And if it's not, you might consider changing. But the perceptions, unfortunately, are very similar all the way through. What is your experience, Bing?
Don't get me started. Yeah. After this, I'll give Jen a little time to the stage time. And thank you for the question. Now we'll switch positions on the stage. Anyway, so I have been a leader in computer science for CUNY for a long time. I might be one of the rare finds in STEM in general, not only women. I mean, in that I am very active. I'm quite frank and bold, confident to speak out for what I believe. Even I'm first generation immigrant here, even with this kind of background. So I got my position as the leader of computer science PhD program at CUNY was because of my boldness. Many years ago we had this re-election, and a group of senior male faculty nominated themselves, which is good. But I, as a relatively more junior faculty, I have a very simple question: what are the candidates' vision for the department's future? Right? No one said anything. Now, then I couldn't help. I didn't want the position. I didn't care. Department chair is a lot of sacrifice, right? So, but I sincerely just wrote down what I believe should be the future for the department, 2 pages. I sent it to all the faculty. All of a sudden, I was nominated and became this leader in this program. Then over 12 years, I started at even there's another specific example. Even I won the election by double digits margin. The president of the institution asked me to be the deputy, regardless of the fact that I won as a young female faculty. Well, although I was young, I was already a full professor back then, right? So this is another interesting observation. So I served as a deputy for 6 years, then became the role as the leader. And to answer back to your question, I constantly find myself being really the only woman of a meeting of 20 faculty. Why 20? Because CUNY has a very complicated structure. The PhD program there, we have faculty from 11 campuses, and when I call for executive meeting, there are the representatives of each computer science department of these 11 campuses. Majority are men. I only have one other female partner in the meeting, and if she's not there, I'm always the only one there. So percentage-wise, it's not improving, at least in the CUNY setting for now. Glass ceiling is real. Maybe the bamboo ceiling, by the way, is also real. But that's a different topic, right? So, however, with all that, I really do think it's important to have the voice out. With STEM people, female, and also the immigrants, right? Many of us are very shy and self-doubt. Do not doubt yourself. And also, I want to say, just to grow a thick skin. It's okay, and forgive yourself, right? Forgive yourself on asking for help. Forgive yourself, maybe said something wrong. I'm forgiving myself for babbling just now, with grammar mistakes. It's okay. Just speak up, right? So anyway.
I wanted to pick up on something you said, and this is about self-nomination or self-promotion. And this is also something, we are better at it. We have become better at it as females, but there is still room for improvement. Men are better at that.
Oh, yes.
Right, so that's something, don't be shy to self-nominate yourself for awards, apply for positions, apply for leadership positions, as well as promotion. Do not wait for your boss to tell you you're ready now. Go forward.
And I also want to follow up on that, which is when you are rejected, do not give up. So I have actually applied I was even invited to apply for higher rank of leadership position, but for whatever reason, they didn't pick me, right? So it's okay. Again, it's not your fault. The higher ladders you climb up in your career, the more rejections you will get. This is true for everyone. Maybe more so for women, but don't give up and do not doubt. Just every time, all the failures that you experience, it helps you to grow. Believe you are good, you are worthy. So Jen, please. Yeah.
Maybe my experience could be a little bit more encouraging in PACE, for my own experience in the PACE University. I think our environment quite encourage both men and women, female and male faculty members, provide the same opportunities. in terms of promotion, resource allocation, task distribution, etc. So when I joined PACE, our dean was female, and then we have a male dean, and then our current dean is also female. And also the chair position, I was recommended by the dean, former dean, the former dean, not the current dean, but both male colleague and myself were nominated for the chair position. So I think I did not see much difference during my own career path about the different treatment because of the gender. So that's probably, I think, something encouraging. I feel it may not be just because of lack, but I think the environment or the larger community probably, there are more friendly environment, and people are value or the change in the mind that both men and women, they should share the same opportunity. It's not based on gender. Something, if you are recommended, it's not because you are a woman, so you have some privilege, or you're a man, you have privilege, but based on your ability, your contribution, and if you are suitable for the position. So many situations, I think we probably, or everyone should consider the quality of the candidate, not because of the gender, But one thing I do notice difference that I also want to bring to the audience today is that I do notice that women are likely to be underpaid than the equally ranking male colleagues. This is something that the information is not that easy to access because you know your own payment, but salary, but you don't know the other colleagues, especially we are a private university, and it's not like a public school. You have those faculty payment information available. But there are also opportunities, like when you write collaborative proposal with your colleagues, then you do the budget application together, so you will see each other's payment. And starting from that time, several proposals, I consistently noticed that I am underpaid than the same rank male faculty member. And what is worse is that for the senior female faculty member in the group, in the collaborative proposal, the senior female faculty member is also underpaid compared with the male. So that's the moment that I realized that there's really not that equality that as I perceived. So I might need to do something to fight for my own benefit. What I would like to share is that there are some good resources that everyone can get for free. That CRA provides the TALB survey every year for the average payment, salary paid for all the different rank of faculty member, different type of position, tenure track, teaching position, research scientist, so that you can really use that as a reference. And when you go to a promotion or you want to ask for a raise of your annual pay, those could be good reference when you talk to your chair, when you talk to your dean. So fight for your own benefit and be aware the general information is a little bit there.
A wonderful point. I wanted to follow up on that. So as Associate Dean for Research from my school, I do faculty hires. And I can tell you that when we make offers to men and to women, men always negotiate very aggressively. And I see much less of that from females. So all of you should know that when you have a job offer, it's either on the lower side or on the medium side, so that there is room for negotiation. So negotiate your salary, be aggressive about it. You are worth it.
Switch a little bit, teeny tiny switch on the topics. I think there was a very good question suggested earlier. This is maybe not necessarily, like a women's topic, but, in terms of career, what are the soft skills that you think, we should pay attention to when we, we talk about being confident, we talk about, really voice out and to seize the opportunity, do not just shy away, right? What other things that, you would suggest to the soft skills that, can help us to advance in career path?
Yeah, so one thing I have been learning from the past many years, I think a lot of people may have mentioned that multiple times, which is how to say no. And especially as female faculty, and sometimes we serve on different committees because of the gender balance reason. And the lesson that I have been learned, because when I was more junior, I was a little bit shy to say no, and then I started to take a lot of services, spend a lot of time on different conditions, and also mentor students when students came to me, and I was always trying to help them, and now I still would like to help students, but sometimes when there are a lot of requests that are beyond the normal condition or beyond the normal workload, now I started to learn how to say no, that I called it kind of like a sandwiches strategy, that first of all, you want to recognize the importance, because it is really an important request and it is a really significant condition. But secondly, you also wanted to say no hardly, that this is really out of my scope, this is really out of my capability, and directly say no, and do not give any room to negotiate. And then the third one, which is kind of the sandwiches, is to still go back to understand the condition. And which is really the case that I really, if I have time, I would like to help, I would like to participate, but sometimes, everybody has like 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we do not have the capability to cover everything. So which I wanted to say, personally, you need to understand yourself, you need to consider yourself as well. So that's the lesson I learned.
Communication is very important, as we all know. And as Pink, you mentioned, speak up. Articulate your ideas. Tell about your ideas to the world. Don't be shy about it. Your ideas are wonderful, especially if the room is silent and you have an idea, it means nobody thought about that idea. Talk about that. Self-promotion is very important. Don't wait for others, and sometimes it's cultural for us, right? When we wait for others to sponsor and promote us, self-promote. Talk about your achievements. Talk about achievements of your students. Shine.
Actually, you just reminded me something else I experienced. Maybe we should discuss this. What if you discuss a project with a male partner, a collaborator, and the next day he would just go around and say this is his idea? What would you do? And this does happen, and many, many times. It could happen to anyone. Any experience with it? I can tell you, I experienced something similar when I was much more junior, right? I didn't do anything because I don't know what to do. So, any suggestions?
This is a sensitive topic. You need to strategize, right? So there is politics mixed with idea. If this is very important for you, I would speak to the higher up, whoever is higher up, and say, hey, this is my idea. Maybe you're already writing a grant on it, so it's super important.
Exactly, grant idea.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a grant idea, so it's very important for you and for your career. Talk to someone higher, and then say, listen, this is, and usually people in those positions, people in the positions of leadership, they will help you manage the problem. They might either talk with that colleague on the side or just promote your grant submission better. Of course, I mean, it depends. If it's not too political, you can confront it as well.
Yes. Yes. I was thinking, while we were discussing, I was thinking myself, if I talk to myself, like maybe 18 years ago, today, with all these bruises and scars that I'm carrying, right now, I may just tell my old self that, Ping, you should just gently, mention, oh, we discussed this yesterday, and I believe what I mentioned in this algorithm was so and so, And today I have new thoughts on it, right? Something like maybe gently, this is soft skill, right? Gently pull it towards to, and make it public. So quickly, there's another advice, actually maybe a soft skill advice that I'm answering the questions myself again, right? So coming back to what you mentioned as well, a very important advice is that if you think you are in a situation where it may be political or maybe some conflicts or like different discussions, always keep written record. If you didn't, try to summarize, some meeting, like points and write it down. And not only to you, yourself, and the whatever sense opponent, right? Including others too. This is very critical. I think in management or leadership role, this is why just now I said, if you ask me how many things I have experienced as a leader, when I can really go on and on for many, many days. And, like I had been challenged by male, professors really ridiculously. Sorry for, saying that. But, what I did was, okay, I will make this a group discussion, right? And I will include all these 15 faculty who are on the committee. Let's talk about this and let's write it down. This actually is very effective when you really need the evidence to support yourself. Yeah.
This is a wonderful point, and I just wanted to add to it then, if you're in the room and situation like this happens in front of your eyes, you can redirect the conversation and make sure it is clear. For example, Ping, if you had an idea yesterday or even 5 minutes ago, and someone just repeated it just louder, right? And then it's heard, and then all of a sudden it's that person's idea. If you are in that room, just very nicely, correct that and say, yes, right, that was Ping's idea 5 minutes ago. And I really like the fact that you are reiterating it now. So this is a very important point.
You just reminded me, I think there must be some psychological, I think I read it somewhere, some psychological research exactly verifies statistically what you just said. Men do, I'm sorry, no offense, but men do repeat women's ideas like 5 minutes later, louder, just louder in general. Again, no offense, but this was a piece of research that was done. Yeah. And other soft skills?
I think those are good points, and which I also very agree. I cannot agree more about those communication, those skills. What I can add is that I think the theory or the general principle that when we handle challenging situations, it's either through email or in person during a meeting or during all the formal situations, that I think we can choose to behave firm but gentle at the same time. Also about the principle that when you face your students, that when you are handling kind of different type of requests, that you cannot really give them the answer they expect. As simple as asking a raise of the grade or some more extension or maybe some extra support for. Sometimes those are reasonable. Sometimes those are not reasonable. So I think we can behave like rigorous at the same time warm, rigorous at the same time caring, right? And you let them know that you have your principle, you have your your own that theory or your principle that you need to hold, but that's not personally for somebody. It's for this kind of situation. It's not for do not take it personally, right? So many situations kind of if we think in this way, and also when we were treated that we feel like sometimes offended by others. But if we can think from this perspective, that will also kind of make it easy for us to digest those negative things happened during the working environment.
I really want to second that, and this is also another skills I have been learning, which is to separate emotion and work. And so which means when sometimes you feel uncomfortable and for even like a person, and or you have like not good experience with a group of people, it's sometimes it's a kind of normal in working condition. And the lesson I learned is that you can still work with the group of people, but just separate your work and your emotion. So which means I want to just finish this work, no matter what my emotion is, doesn't matter. I just want to get the work done. And on the other side, I allow myself to have bad emotion, which is okay. And then I can handle the emotion by I kind of define another task that, okay, for the second task, I need to fight back. I can still get the work done by working with like different people that I may not choose to work, but I have to. And then for the second task, I just want to deal with this condition or this experience that I want to fight back and just deal with the condition itself.
Excellent point. I actually do want to, I just remember to add on Antonina's earlier point about communication. We are talking about soft skills, right? For example, when if you have started to working in the, like faculty jobs and in departments, we usually have voting for things, right? Like passing certain curriculum or certain, motions. One soft skill I learned specifically is that if you really want to push for your agenda, talk to people early before the meeting, right? And to test water, right? Like talk to them, tell them what do you think, and why you think this is the right thing to do for the department. Then we'll see, like how to, pivoting the momentum at the meeting is another soft skill that's very interesting. And this is true for both gender, for everybody, yeah. Lou has been quiet. I think you might be, thinking that I want to ask you, if you have any questions somehow, as a junior faculty, or if you have any observation about soft skills or other things in career, path that you want to bring up.
I think the soft skills that I have a lot of things that I need to improve, like those just how to say no. I am a very bad example that I didn't know. Like, I might be the only tenure-track faculty, I'm not sure in the university, but maybe like United States wide. I don't have my own office. I'm sharing it with medical college dean's wife, because the department chair asked me in front of the faculty meeting that would you like share. So how can I say no? I
think you should really explore whether your institution has offices.
Yeah.
That for appeal, right? So this is another thing I want to mention. Many institutions indeed have this kind of office, although maybe with the current global atmosphere, certain terms, right, the DEI, the diversity, inclusion, and equity start to be somehow pushed back. Thank God. I mean, like in New York, New Jersey area, we're still open, and it's very important. Let's put everything else aside. We need this. Just talk about every individual. We need a sense of belonging, right? It's DEI that was mentioned, but there's a B, the belonging. So anyway, so what I really want to say is that institutions should have, even their legal counsels. Boldness, right? I got really mistreated in writing, very obvious. It doesn't take a linguistic expert to tell me this guy writing to me very rudely versus when he was writing to other male faculty. So this happened before the COVID. There was no DI office, right? But I went to the legal counsel directly. I contacted my school lawyer right away. Just ask, like there are ethical trainings here. Nowadays, I don't know about your school. Do they have?
We don't have the union. It's illegal in Texas.
It's not necessarily union. Even for schools without union, there must be laws, right?
I reach out, but I got no.
Your school is like okay, very interesting. But anyway, so look for help. The bottom line is look for help and look for somebody maybe beyond the ladder of your direct leader. Like go to the dean or potentially some offices that...
Dean protects dean.
Okay. Yeah, any other questions then? Any other challenges? We can, when it indeed comes to a situation where it's very desperate, that you do not have any help. Yeah, there's a last resource, which is, grow yourself, like publish, keep publishing, do good work, and empower yourself to be ready to move on.
Yeah, but I do have the like good lesson, like because I'm totally a computer science people, but I joined like BIME, like medical school, because I was thinking that I can just wait for the collaboration. No waiting, be brave. And I was kind of like, because when I want to try to submit a proposal that I need domain experts, I was waiting the kind of like the introduction from my department chair or something like, and it's useless. So I just reach out by myself. I emailed to like the Baylor, like medical school. I like medicine by myself, and I got a response like the same day, like 2 days before the due date. So I think instead of waiting for others to help me, I need to help myself. So be brave, like to reach out.
You're absolutely right, and that's what I wanted to follow up on. Be proactive. This is very important. Don't wait for your chair to do that introduction for you. You know what? You can reach out to the chair of that Department of Medicine and say, I would like to give a seminar at your department. And I want to talk about an idea that I have. I'm looking for collaborators. You will get collaborators plus invited talk on your CV. So it's a win-win. Proactive. Being proactive is also very, very important.
But if I do such a thing, they will just, the collaborator in my university will treat me as the statistician, best statistician. They just have me to do simple like statistics. So I'm thinking maybe I just search online whose expertise is fitting my project, or like instead of like I like do some advertisements like seminars. So I prefer that. I just reach out to the correct person directly. Yeah.
Absolutely. In situations like this, I remember, in my early stage of my career, I didn't experience many, bad things that you have been experiencing, but it was challenging, right? Like really starting a professor job, there are so many, challenges. Like for example, I think my first awarded proposal was the 12th that I wrote. So for the first 11 proposals, they were all rejection. And I never gave up, right? And I came to school from this, I think, golden background in research. Like I went to really good undergraduates, really good, PhD program research, and come to claim, they have research, but the majority teaching place. And I was in shock. And I was teaching college algebra the 3rd semester into my job. The very first question I got was, how old are you? It's so funny. I'm like, okay, so you don't need to know how old I am. You just need to know that I'm good enough to be a professor. And I was explaining, x minus 2 equals to 3, then x is 5. The students jump up saying, why? And they couldn't get it. And I was shocked by how poorly, the college kids here, well, of course they are not computer science majors, they are not math majors, because this is largely serving course, right? So, but still, it's a very simple question. I couldn't understand why they don't understand why. And I tried to explain more, breaking down. Guess what? After the class, I went back to the department, and the department secretary told me, Ping, what did you do in the class? The student wrote a petition on you. Yeah, those kind of challenges do happen. I just want to let you know, things do happen. We are so chill right now, sitting here talking about the lessons and advices. We really do carry a lot of bruises and scars. And if it's not this, then that. So there are always challenges. Do remember, hold yourself together. Indeed, understand, like there's a reason for you to be here and do this, and really actually do try to develop a bigger picture on the kind of missions that you want to accomplish. And then think out of the box, live for others, actually live for helping others. It will be easier on you for, going through the current challenges. And, when the situation really is this bad, really, try to be persistent as long as you can, then, find another choice. I think we really should give the audience some time, some chance to speak up, although I feel that this may be a quiet audience. Any questions from the audience, especially, the the young professionals, not necessarily women, okay? So although we are, in this topic of women in computing. Anyone, please? We have about 15 minutes left.
Or maybe anybody would like to share their experiences or advice?
Yeah, we
how they
have the
manage?
microphone right here, right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll ask a question. My name's Natasha. I'm from Florida. So we've talked a lot about all the challenges of being a woman in computing. Is there anything that you guys think that kind of gives us an advantage in the field, or just any insight into that?
Frankly, if I may start, I honestly do not see much advantage. I'm sorry. Even with the current, so-called the potential active practice on promoting women DEI. This is actually the best we can do now. It seems to me. If in reality, even people would easily accuse. For example, if I got a new position as something, I have to say, listen, this is not a DEI hiring. I earned it. You see the controversial point that I'm trying to make? DEI is not enough for promoting women and potentially minority just by talking about it. And when you say advantage of being this particular gender in the working place, I really don't see advantages, frankly speaking. I do see a lot of advantage still on the men's side because of societal stereotypes, on what men should do, what they should be the bread earners of the house, and they are supposed to work. And they are expected to be, in the offices, the labs, to go to conferences, do all the travel. Well, women don't have that kind of luxury to have that kind of expectation, equal expectation. So this is my personal view. I'm already in a very good state in terms of, and a very good city in terms of theoretically promoting everyone equally. But even in this situation, I do not feel much advantage. And when you thought because you're a woman, then you may have some advantage of getting this position. Listen to that thinking itself already is a disadvantage. I'm sorry. It is already a strong indicator saying that I am in my position today. It's not because I worth it or because I earned this position, because of my intelligence, my skill, my background. No, it's only because you're a woman. That's wrong. Anyway, so that's what I want to say. But thank you very much for the question.
I wanted to say that, for advantages, I'm not trying to say advantages, but there are some good side. The good side is that once you work in academia, and maybe you are the person who can promote the equality, and you see the problem, and you can be the problem solver. So that is the good side that I see. So for example, personally, I'm a mechanical and electrical engineer. So we build new technology. And for myself, we build wearable robotics to provide assistive technologies for human beings, like for stroke rehabilitation, for daily assistance. And one major issue in technology development is that for most of the exoskeletons were wearable robotics. They're not designed for the female characteristics. And so then I'm the researcher. So if I see the problem and I see the problem, and I can be the person to solve the problem. So I feel this is the good side of a female in the society, and as a scientist, that we can be, if we see the problem, and we can try to solve the problem.
Be the role model. Yeah, that's very, very good point.
So I wanted to talk about some characteristics that female scientists have that I think should be better appreciated by the society, and this is really high empathy and emotional intelligence. We really run our labs, I'm sure everybody can agree here, like our families. We run our departments as our families, as well as institutions. So female leaders lead differently. We need different kinds of leadership. And this is exactly what female scientists and leaders can provide.
This indeed is the advantage of having females in the field, not necessarily the advantage to us as women, working, but that's definitely, also I share what Antonina just said. My observation, I do not have statistics or research back up what I'm going to say, but I really do feel that in my career, it's easier for the male faculty to throw the towel, meaning that give up. But the women leaders are more resilient. They persist. They actually try to find creative ways, just like you said, running this thing and how you can take care of the kids, right? Like trying to find other ways to mitigate the situation. So that is a strength indeed. It's good for the industry. Yeah. Any other points?
She has a question.
Please go ahead.
I missed some at the beginning. I'm not sure this question already been asked. So what was the biggest challenges you faced as a woman in computing, and how did you overcome it? So for all panelists, what's the biggest challenge you have as a woman in computing, and how you overcome it?
I feel we indeed have discussed this, but there are more, absolutely more. Biggest, actually, I'm sorry, the biggest challenge is being a woman. Right? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, maybe if we really discuss this a little, maybe in a more constructive way, is that I think I did have that, in a prep, list of questions there, is that how do we advise the society what to do differently to support women in science? Let's just focus on women in science, although I really do want to say women in general in workplace, right? So what do you think you wish the society would have done, to better support you? Start from you, Lou.
Yeah, I think the challenge is that as women, we are expected more responsibility in the family. So I think the most challenge would be work-life balance. And so I think understanding from the both side, like work and family, that would be great. Yeah.
I think that for both gender or for both male and female faculty members in the academia, that they should kind of be aware that the importance of balance for life and work. For example, if there's newborn in the family, that I think the the mom definitely will take more. But also I think the husband, no matter from industry or from academia, should also take the somehow equal workload to share this family responsibility. And this will not be something only from like the support for women, but the female, the whole society should be aware this is the responsibility for both part of the family. So I think for the tenure track, I think that's probably the most stressful period of the academic career, that the clock is clicking every day. So when like their pregnancy, raising baby, especially when kids are young, so some modification to the tenure track clock. I know some universities they already have this. Like you can pause your tenure clock, have some kind of extension for 1 year or so. I think that could be a good option for female faculty, and it's not something you have to do or you have to delay your tenure track, but it's an option. If you feel that will be helpful, that will be suitable for you, less stressful, then choose it. But if you feel like even I have more family responsibility to take during my tenure track, but I'm still ready to go ahead for promotion, then you don't have to have this delay or extension. So give more options to people to handle different situations. There's not something like hard or everybody is suitable for everybody. And also I feel like for the male faculty member that if there's newborn in the family or more family responsibility in their family, they should also have the right to request this kind of release time to support the family, right? So I think that can really, I think the family, the stable, the healthy relationship in the family is a strong support for one to pursue a successful career. So getting the family part foundation well built up is also a very important job for us, for everyone, while we pursue a successful career. So I think the support from that part is also equally important as the support we obtain from the working environment directly.
To answer the question that, like, as a community and or maybe as a university, how to support women faculty, I think one thing which is doable is to provide more resources. And what are these resources? So for example, no class. For public schools, kids may not have class. And if there could be like a backup care, and that's a direct support. And for example, for the conference, we want to travel to Chase, for example, and have my kids. If I cannot, like I have to bring my kids, if there could be like daycare, right? And for one day for temporary support, that is direct resource. I think that would be helpful and that's doable.
Before we come to you, Antonina, I want to add on this. I remember many years ago I went to a conference. I mean computer networking, right? In the communication, realm. Our conferences start to provide local connections with daycares. So many years ago, I brought my older one. She was only 5 to Sydney, a different country, and I was able to enroll her at a local. Of course, I need to pay, but I happily, right, like $100 a day, to put her in a daycare for 2 days so that I can focus on the conference. So I hope the industry is like moving, having that kind of initiatives more and more.
So in addition to system support that females can receive, I also think all of us, females and males, we should start with ourselves, and we should raise our children as well as our trainees in a way that they appreciate strong female figures. So propagate our values to them, make sure we raise them so that not only female is the one, as you mentioned, Pink, that cooks in the family, and there is an equal partnership from male and female side.
Absolutely, and I actually want to I also want to answer this question, myself. What are the societal support, right? Like that I wish to see. Echo back to what you said earlier. Include us. Hey, male partners, include us in your projects. We are equally capable. This is real. Because it's, indeed, so, and I actually also want to say that when we talk about women in computing, this is why in the very beginning of this panel, I said I really appreciate the fact maybe half of the audience are male. Because this is not a woman's job, this is a societal, collaborative effort to really advance and for the sake of the human race in general, right? And it is time for women to shine at the workplace as shiny as the men. And again, women scientists have equally, if not better, ideas too, right? So include us. And I really do appreciate those men who are actually making the change from their side. I really appreciate my husband, really, this guy is a very good partner, right? We work around, and for those of you who are, married or not, you're getting into marriage, do know, for the female, students here or young professionals here, indeed finding a good partner is important. You really cannot do this. I'm sorry, I know you're laughing because you can have no control sometimes, right? But indeed, try to educate the people around you. Anyway, so include us, particularly in professional world, in the projects, and indeed be a little more patient, right? If we have young kids, give us like double time to write these paragraphs that are assigned to us, or be more flexible in terms of scheduling meetings, and do this purposely. Please, I think this little by little, things will be changed over time. That's what I hope to, my wish for the society. And I guess, well, last 3 minutes, I think it's time, unless there's one last question from the audience. There is one. I'm so sorry, I couldn't see. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing the insights. And I'm Hui Ning Li. Currently, I'm an assistant professor from the North Carolina State University. So I want to ask, do you have some suggestions for the early career faculty, especially given the uncertainty in current funding agencies?
So, you know, when I was a young faculty, I read a book that was called How to Get Tenure. And one of the advices in that book was, whatever you need to do, whatever you're asked to do, ask yourself, will it get me tenure? And if the answer is no, you don't do it. Or at least you do it to the minimal percent of your effort. Be very focused. You have a very hard job to do. It's a lot of things to do. Plus, if you add work-life balance on top of it, it's even harder. Be strategic. Know how to select tasks. Be smart about it. If you are not sure, ask a more senior colleague, is it something I should be doing while I'm early in my career so that I get tenure? After you get tenure a little bit, you can serve more committees, you can run some initiatives, lead the center, and so on.
This is one lesson I learned as a junior faculty when started, is not to be too distributed. And if you have a few ideas, and just keep focused and be persistent. So which means, especially under the current uncertainties, for example, if you have a very clear idea, you really want to do it, and eventually you will be successful. And during this process, you can try different things, but you have your core there. And my suggestion is, sometimes as a junior faculty, sometimes I was not sure what exactly I wanted to do. So that was a problem. So I tried different things, and turned out to be a lot of things were not my core. And even I got a little money, it didn't help. So my suggestion is just, you have your core and build your core, and use different ways to build your core, and say, if stuff doesn't work, try foundations, and try industry money, try STTR, try SBIR, and eventually you will get your core built.
Yeah, I second what Sarah said, that you want to, probably my suggestion is that you can talk with your chair about the expectation from your school, from your department for a tenure professor, that what they're looking for most important. And then you know what are the expectations from all the folders, like the research expectation, teaching expectation, and also the service expectation. And then you prioritize your tasks according to the importance of those tasks. For something that you must get done, so like the mandatory requirement, I don't know if those are like talking in this way, because most universities, they don't have like list for what you have to achieve in order to get tenure. So it's kind of on purpose obscure for that part. But you can talk with your chair and get estimate about what is the general requirement there. So if, for example, the funding, you mentioned particularly about the funding application. So if a federal funding like NSF, NIH is a must-have, then you have to focus on those. It takes a lot of time for those proposals, and talk with the program director, understand the different opportunities of the funding solicitations. Those will be some priority work for that folder. But if federal funding is not a must-have in order to get tenure, then you may look more opportunities, right? Instead of those federal funding, which is more competitive, you probably can look for some industry funding, local funding, which could also satisfy the requirement of the tenure requirement, but not that challenging as the federal funding opportunities. So I think you want to tailor your task list, your plan, based on the requirement or expectation from your school.
I just have bad example. So when things happen, definitely act quicker, because my bad experience is that I just act too late, and it takes like maybe many times of the efforts I need to resolve in the early stage. So it's fine.
Also have a 5-year plan. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What grants do you want to get? What papers you will need to publish? And then, okay, what do you need to do 4 years from today to be there? What about 3 years? What about a year? What about half a year? What about the months, right? And so you build, this is called backward chaining. So you know your goal, and then you plan backward. What do you need to do tomorrow? What do you need to do in a week and in a month so that you get there in 5 years?
Since we are running out of time, I actually do want to, bring up my last question, which is, please, everyone on the panel provide a one sentence advice, quick sentence advice, and I will start from myself, and with the thought of answering your question, which is quick advice. I have many, is reach out, collaborate. Yeah. So to elaborate a little bit, this actually again echoes what Antonina said earlier. Really, in earlier stage of the career, this is critical. You really do want to just be, again, bold and confident, and just to, connect to different departments, people. I actually, as a junior faculty at John Jay College, I went to NYPD. Because John Jay College back then established the nation's first digital forensics master's program, I literally walked into NYPD headquarters here and asked, do you have a digital forensics department here? Things like that. So establish collaboration, build your professional network as wide as you can. That's my quick advice. Sorry. Please, one sentence now. Yeah.
Don't be patient.
No matter which stage you are at for your career path right now, try to enjoy that stage, because that is unique, and you will always get something valuable from different stage. So try to enjoy your current stage.
I just wanted to say, be strong.
I would say be strategic, but I wanted to follow up on previous comment about enjoying. So sometimes we're so focused on the goal that we forget about the destination and about the journey. So it's not just the destination, it's also the journey. Remember to enjoy it. And that's what you will remember at the end of the road, most of all.
Thank you very much for this wonderful panel, and let's thank everybody here. Thank you, and the audience. Thank you. This is great.